Hi everyone, if you're new to following, my name is Kayla Slater. I'm a registered dietitian and a certified personal trainer. Currently, I am working for a SNAP Ed program as a nutritionist, but I also am going to have, I guess, or I should say I do have a private practice or online nutrition coaching business, which I'm super excited about. I'm launching it this month and I am so very excited. So please check out my new website and keep up to date on all the fun things that are going on because I am super excited. But I wanted to come on and talk a little bit about magnesium, vitamin D, and also supplements. So some of you might have seen the article that I posted the other day. I believe yesterday I posted an article on magnesium and vitamin D. So a research study recently came out that talked about, well, first it talked about how we're deficient in magnesium and vitamin D. So 40% of Americans, I believe, no, sorry, 40%, yes, 40% of Americans in the United States are deficient, or most likely to be deficient in magnesium, or vitamin D, sorry. Yes, about 40% of people in the United States are considered to be deficient in vitamin D. So vitamin D, those of you that might not know, is very important for your bones. So it works with calcium to calcify your bones. It also has a lot to do with your mood. So those of you that might know this, but vitamin D we get a lot from our sunlight. So those of us who live in the northern hemisphere, like for example, I'm in, most of you could be, some of you could be all over the United States or even out of the States, but in the northern hemisphere in the United States, it's very cold, dreary, cloudy. We don't get a lot of sunlight. We also might not get out very often. So we're very likely, that's why we're very likely to be deficient in vitamin D, because we're not getting as much sun, but also we may not be getting enough from our foods. So, excuse me, for those of you who might already know this, but this is our new nutrition facts label. So our new nutrition facts label recently came out. Don't believe it's mandatory for all the food labels to be changed over yet, but it hasn't been updated since 1993. And you guys probably can understand this, but things change a lot with nutrition, and the way our food has just changed and evolved so much with just the typical American diet, what we're eating, where our food is coming from, what's in our food, and deficiencies change from what we're kind of eating. The deficiencies that we're seeing changes. So anyways, below here, usually, it tells you your sodium, your carbs, your sugar, your protein, but under there is usually the minerals, the nutrients. So usually you see your minerals and your vitamins. So down there, they used to just have, I believe vitamin A and vitamin C were down there. Well, those aren't mandatory anymore. You can still have those, but they're not mandatory. So, oh, sorry. My video on my Instagram didn't work. I was trying to go live on both, but it didn't work. So anyways, so on the nutrition facts label, we only have, or now what is required is vitamin D, and that's because it's found that we are deficient in vitamin D. So that is why they put it on the nutrition facts label, so we can see that there's vitamin D in our food, so we can be aware to eat foods with vitamin D in them. So just to give you a little quick information on what vitamin D foods are, if you're looking to eat more vitamin D foods, are mushrooms, fortified cereals, and fortified milks. And now these are just plant-based foods. I did not include non-plant-based foods, but those would be like salmon is also high in vitamin D, and your dairy products are too. So with so what about magnesium and this relationship between magnesium? Well, it's this new research study, as I started off, says or did research and realized or found out from the study that magnesium is related to vitamin D and the absorption. So magnesium helps boost your vitamin D levels. So what that means is just like there's a relationship between vitamin C and iron, eating high vitamin C foods with iron-rich foods helps absorption of that iron-rich food. So for example, spinach is an iron-rich food, and strawberries have vitamin C, so it's a good idea to eat both of them if you want to get as much iron as possible from that spinach. So it's the same thing. So you want to try to eat not just more vitamin D foods, but it's important to have magnesium with that vitamin D food. So what is that? Chocolate. So milk and chocolate would be the perfect example. Vitamin D, you get your get vitamin D from milk, and then you can get some magnesium from your chocolate, which is awesome. I do recommend dark chocolate because it has less sugar, and you get the benefits from the chocolate. You get the magnesium. So for plant-based eaters, so for a vegan like me, it may be a lot harder to find vitamin D foods. That's why some foods are can be fortified with vitamin D, also because it is known that a lot of us are deficient in vitamin D, so they might fortify it. So I did look at my almond milk and my coconut yogurt, and that does have 25% in both of those. So at least I'm getting I mean, it's just a guideline. I don't know if I eat quite 2,000 calories. I probably eat less, but that would be based on 2,000 calories, but that is about 50%. But if I'm not getting much sunlight if I'm not going out and getting much sunlight in the wintertime like now, then I'm most likely not getting enough vitamin D that I need, which means that I should look for a vitamin D supplement to take. With vitamin D supplements, it is important to make sure that you don't overdose because it is a fat-soluble vitamin, which means you can overdose. The overdose level is 4,000 IU, but you do want to take into consideration because you might see that there is such a high IU. If you look at it, a supplement is so high because your body may not absorb it all. So supplements are a lot different than foods, and it's always important to try your best to get your nutrients from your food because your body absorbs it a lot easier and just a lot better. And that's why it's really good information when these studies come out that talk about how like magnesium helps boost your vitamin D. That is awesome because we want to figure out those kind of relationships to help absorb our nutrients from our foods, because we know that we don't absorb all the nutrients from our foods and we're not fueling our bodies and giving the nutrients that our bodies need. So I hope that was helpful, and I hope that explained the article a little bit. I thought that would be more helpful to kind of walk through that and explain it a little more. I thought it was a really interesting study. It is a very recent study from December of 2018, so just last month. So I thought it was really interesting and exciting news. And if you guys did like this video, please give me feedback. Please give me comment on this video. Tell me how you liked it. Let me know if you'd like me to do more videos like this, and what kinds of information you guys are looking for that would be helpful wherever you are in your health journey. So I hope this video is helpful. And as I said, give me, I'd love some feedback on what you thought about it. And thank you for joining. Bye.